Welcome to Get Organized at Work. I'm your host, Kayla Fahey-Ahrndt, healthcare leader, mom of three, and your go-to guide for ditching the chaos and taking control of your workday. This is the show where we turn overwhelming to-do lists into clear, actionable plans so you can crush your goals and show up as your best self at work and in your life. Whether you're here for strategies to stay ahead or systems to simplify your workday, you're in the right place. Let's get organized, have some fun, and make this year your best year in your career yet. Let's dive in. Hello, welcome back to Get Organized at Work podcast. I'm Kayla, I'm your host, and today we're going to be talking about what leadership skills we can learn from Karen Reed's attorneys. So today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. I've been closely watching the Karen Reed trial, and regardless of how you feel about the case itself, I couldn't help but notice how distinct each attorney's style is and how it mirrors common leadership personas in the workplace. So in today's episode, we're not diving into the legal case details. We're looking at what leadership lessons we can take away from the attorneys who are at the front and center in this case. And these are real-time examples of communication, preparation, emotional intelligence, and strategic positioning. So whether you're leading a team in healthcare, corporate, education, or anywhere else, there's something here for you. So I hope you grab your notebook. It's going to be a fun one. I know in the past I've done episodes like this. One of my favorite ones that I can remember is all about the TV show called Chopped, the Food Network channel show, I believe. And I did an episode a long time ago. It's an oldie but a goodie. It was all about the leadership lessons you can learn from Chopped, especially around feedback, right? You got to be creative, got to think on your feet, and you get feedback in real time. So I thought that was a really fun episode to do. So let me know if you enjoy kind of doing something different every once in a while. Last month, we did a whole month on consistency, and it was really, not intense, I would say, but all on theme for the whole month. And I just thought, let's switch it up. We're heading into summer. Before we tackle another specific topic, let's do something fun. So I hope you enjoy it. I'm going to be posting about this on my Instagram channel at Get Organized at Work, and probably on my LinkedIn channel. So you can find my name, Kayla Fahey-Ahrndt, on LinkedIn, and join me. And let's talk about this episode after you have a good listen. So let's dive in. All right. So the first attorney on Karen Reed's team I want to talk about is Ms. Little. I would like to call her the organized operator. So Ms. Little is definitely not the loudest voice in the courtroom, but she's always prepared and she's always put together. I don't know, side note, her suits, her most recent haircut, on point. Anyways, she's always prepared. Anytime a document or piece of evidence is needed or requested by anyone, the court, her fellow attorneys, she has it immediately. Like I'm talking like before they ask for it, she has it. Tabs, folders, system. Essentially, she's the backbone of their operation. She doesn't do a lot of the witness handling or arguing, but she's the one that makes sure that everybody has what they need. So what can we learn from her from a leadership standpoint? This is our first leadership lesson, operational excellence through organization. So this is a leader who sets their team up for success by being the most prepared person in the room. You know the one I'm talking about, right? The leader who walks in on Monday huddles, they've got a clear agenda, goals printed, tasks outlined, follow-ups from last week, like they're ready to go. So if you want to be more like Ms. Little, build your leader standard work. I want to ask yourself, what are the key tasks you need to do daily, weekly, and monthly to make your target goals or to hit the outcomes you're hoping to achieve? You want to use reliable organizational systems like organizational systems like folders, templates, meeting prep notes, like things that are going to help you not have to make decisions or remember exactly what you need to do, but rather they prompt you like, oh, during one-on-ones, I always need to be following up on last week's items, right? So create a template that's going to have a section for like last week's items. Make it super easy for yourself. And always have a digital or physical grab and go kit for presentation or high stakes meetings. So something I love to do is have my meeting slides like saved in a certain folder every presentation I give. So that way, when I go to give other presentations, I can mix and match slides. I can use the brand templates easily. I have my favorite brand templates specific types of slides I like to reuse over and over again. I have my specific visuals I always find and use. So just keep those in a common place and you won't have to search for them. If you're looking to learn more about leader standard work and the habits and the tasks you need to do daily, monthly, and weekly, etc., I have many episodes on my YouTube channel as well as this podcast. So I will also link those in the show notes, as well as a leader standard workbook. So this is something I'm going to be starting to talk about a little bit more this summer and post more about. But I actually have a physical notebook that's essentially a work planner or leadership planner that has all these templates that I talked about, like one-on-one templates, one-on-one meeting templates, daily templates, weekly templates, etc. So you can grab that on my website. I'll link that below as well. And I'm working on doing a little updates for it and potentially offering custom ones where you can tell me which pages you like, and I will print that specific for you. If you want, there's also a digital version on my website, and you can use it on your iPad or wherever you want to have like a digital template, or you can print it out. So it's up to you. What can we learn from Miss Little? Honestly, she is a definition of what I like to call quiet power, loud results. All right, the second attorney I want to talk about is Mr. Alessi. I would like to call him the academic strategist. He is extremely academic. He doesn't just present arguments. He actually builds a case around essentially a thesis. It's like a thesis. He's telling you a story. And what I love about the way that he communicates is he gives you an outline of what he's going to say. He'll say, okay, first I'm going to talk about this, then I'm going to talk about this, before he actually says it. And then after he says it, he reminds you what he says. He gives you a little summary. I love that. That is a wonderful tip that you can take away for emails or presentations, especially to executives. Get right to the point with what you're going to say, then give the details, then summarize what you're going to say. He's detail-oriented, calm, and very methodical. People have been describing the way that he is as an attorney as kind of creating the slow burn, right? So he's a little bit slower in how he makes his point, but by the time he makes his point, it's like, boom. So leadership lesson number 2 that we can learn from him is depth over drama. So this is the leader who has done the work behind the scenes. They've researched the data. They've anticipated possible objections, and they lead with logic. When this kind of leader speaks, you know they're not guessing. Like, they have studied the terrain. They know the answers to your questions. So if you want to be more like Mr. Alessi, you can prepare by researching industry trends, policies, and outcomes before strategic meetings. You can use a roadmap approach in meetings. Start by stating your goal or the problem, walk through the data, and then end with the clear takeaways. Like I always talk about with project management as well. You might want to use a roadmap to visually show where the projects are, where they're going to go, and how it will fall during the year, showing everybody's workload and how you're going to balance everything. You want to also lean into frameworks like SWOT analysis, SBAR, or A3 to help you bring structure to your ideas. So A3 is just a problem-solving structure. A3 is the size of a paper. SBAR is a way to communicate your situation, background, assessment, and recommendation. SWOT analysis is talking about your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. It's essentially a grid that you can make to talk through, like, can you have room to improve? Where might you want to avoid? Maybe there's other things you should be thinking about. So I'll link to different resources of these in the show notes, maybe some episodes I've already done on these items to help you out so you can continue to learn about these frameworks. Mr. Alessi reminds us that being right is one thing, but helping people follow your thinking is leadership. You might be a really great visionary and have this wonderful idea of where you're going and where you want your team to go. But if you cannot articulate it and bring people with you, you'll never drive results. So strategic visionary leaders are really good at the storytelling, making it clear, and bringing people with them. The third lawyer is Mr. Yannetti, and I want to call him the relational insider. So Mr. Yannetti, he's got a local vibe, someone who knows the courtroom, the community, the lingo. He's from Boston. He builds that instant rapport with people. He lets people know he's got a local office. He knows all the players that he's talking to within this trial in the courtroom. He doesn't need to convince you. He's already earned your trust by just showing up as somebody who, quote unquote, gets it. Leadership lesson number 3 that we can learn is build credibility through connection. This is the leader who walks into the cafeteria and knows everybody by name. They use shorthand, humor, and familiarity to get things done. It's not just that they have the charm, it's that they have trust. And that trust is earned by consistently showing up and understanding the culture. So if you want to lead like Mr. Yannetti, here's some things you can do. You can learn your workplace culture, which you can do by listening before you act. Take time to hear what people are saying and also notice what they're not saying. You can take time to meet with frontline staff. Hallway conversations matter. Seeing people around the workplace matters. If we're talking lingo that I usually use on this podcast, we call it going to Gemba or going to where the work is done, actually seeing what people are experiencing in the day-to-day so that you can relate to them. And you can reference local or organizational context when sharing updates or decisions. So when you're trying to share things that are going on, give real context that makes sense or feels familiar to the people you're talking with. Make sure you know your audience and share what would matter to them and how it's important to them. So he's a reminder that you don't have to be flashy to be trusted. You just have to be known and present. The last lawyer I want to talk about is Mr. Jackson, and I want to call him the responsive adapter. Mr. Jackson is a brilliant listener. He reacts quickly, he adjusts on the fly, and he meets the moment with his presence. Whether he's clarifying an objection or pivoting based on new testimony, he's never thrown off. So leadership lesson number 4 is agility under pressure. This is the leader who doesn't just have a plan A, they are also ready with plan B and C. They're the ones who stay cool when a new regulation drops or when staffing suddenly shifts. They don't need time to process for 2 days. They're just like, all right, let's adjust, and they lead the response. If you want to lead more like Mr. Jackson, practice active listening. Reflect back what you hear before jumping in with solutions. You might even share what the person has said right back to them, maybe paraphrase, say something like, I heard you say, and allow them to say, oh yeah, you've got it, or no, you've missed a piece. This can really help you hone in and fine tune those active listening skills. You can build decision trees for common challenges so you're not reacting emotionally. For example, when we were really short-staffed a few years ago, I created a contingency staffing plan, and it was kind of a policy / set of procedures where if this, then that. And it was really wonderful because there were some things that frontline staff could do, our supervisor could do, and then escalation trees to me and other leaders so that if we needed to deploy any actions, we knew what to do and we wouldn't be kind of thrown off in the moment when we were worried about staffing or making sure our patients were being taken care of. We just followed the decision tree. The other thing you can do is create psychological safety on your team by showing that pivots aren't failures. They're a smart strategy. It is okay to abandon an idea or admit that this idea wasn't the correct path or say, okay, we've tried that, it's not working, we're going to try something else. So Mr. Jackson, in my opinion, is a definition of composure meets compatibility and adaptability. So let's recap the leadership styles we saw through the lens of Karen Reed's legal team. Ms. Little, the prepared operator, organized, methodical, and always ready. Mr. Alessi, the strategic scholar, data-driven, clear, and persuasive. Mr. Yannetti, the trusted insider, connected, culturally fluent, and competent. Mr. Jackson, the responsive leader, adaptive, calm, and emotionally intelligent. What I love is that none of these styles are better than the other. Each one shines in a different way, and when combined, like in this case, and you can see it when you're watching, they create a powerhouse leadership team. All of these different styles, although very different, complement each other. So here's your action step that you can take is ask yourself, which style feels most like you right now? And which one do you want to grow into more? Where do you see you challenging yourself to be more like one of the other styles that maybe you're less comfortable with? And if you're managing a team, what are your strengths and where can you balance your style by collaborating along with someone else who leads differently than you? All right, I want to say thank you so much for listening to today's episode of Get Organized at Work. If it inspired you, I'd love it if you'd share it with a colleague or use it as a conversation starter at one of your next team meetings. And like I said, follow me on LinkedIn or follow me on Instagram at Get Organized at Work. Or one last plug, I have my free podcast community where I share these episodes early, other tips, and we run different webinars and boot camps and things like that inside the group, and you get to connect with other professionals. All right, until next time, stay curious, stay prepared, and stay connected. You've got this. Talk soon. Bye.